How you doing? Ray Silke is my name. I'm here at the Irish Examiner and we're just going to look at the All-Ireland final, which is on Sunday. Mayo looking for their third All-Ireland, they won in 50-51, and Dublin looking for another All-Ireland, obviously they won in 2011. So that's on Sunday. I'm here just to talk about some of the tactics, what's important and what's going to maybe be key issues in the game. So we'll keep it fairly short, 3 or 4 minutes, so I hope you enjoy it. The first thing we're going to talk about here, and I think it's absolutely crucial to Mayo or Dublin's success, is Stephen Cluxton's kickouts. As we know, his ability to find his men is absolutely unparalleled in the game. He's a fantastic kickout. We saw that in the All-Ireland semi-final where Tomás O'Shea got slightly caught out of position. He went down the field, Cluxton put down the ball, popped it 80 yards up to Jim Connolly. So if Mayo allowed that to happen, they were in big trouble. So how did they stop it? Well, one thing that I noticed very much there, so there's Cluxton in goal, one thing I noticed very much in that All-Ireland semi-final against Kerry was the speed at which he got the ball and received it. So the first thing Mayo have to be, tactically, is very, very sharp, aware of what's going to happen. Cluxton was prepared to hit, and probably be Philly McMahon in there and say, I don't know whether O'Brien get picked again. He even picks out Johnny Cooper, but a lot of his targets are 5 and 7. James McCarthy and Johnny McCaffrey, and they're so fast then. What Dublin don't want to do is they don't want Cluxton bombing the ball out there to Michael Darragh-Macaulay, and we don't know at this stage will it be Cian O'Sullivan or will it be Dennis Bastick. My view is that they might go with O'Sullivan at the start, because Aidan O'Shea, big Aidan O'Shea there, who looks like he could be coming for Player of the Year, he is a big, tall, dominant man with his brother Seamus. So Cluxton doesn't want to be hitting here. So what they did very well the last days, he got the ball really, really sharply. He popped it here, and particularly Connolly, who got man of the match in some people's eyes that day, or Paul Flynn. So he wants to be hitting the wings at speed. Now James Horan will have worked on this, as Kerry have done in the past, getting his guys tight. What we talk about is, sometimes we talk about the full court press. Will all the Mayo guys push up on their players and not give them that option? That's a difficult thing to maintain for a full game. And the big question here today, I suppose, this is Thursday now that we're recording this, we don't have all the teams fully, is are Dublin going to go with Gerard Brennan at 6? And if that'll mean decisions, or do they go with Cian O'Sullivan? But a big decision is Keith Higgins. Mayo have gone with the same team at this stage, so Keith Higgins is picked in the half-forward line. I was at the 2004 All-Ireland final, I was at the 2006 All-Ireland final, Kerry won well, I was at last year's All-Ireland final, and Mayo took on an awful lot of water very, very quickly. So will Horan go defensive with Higgins, creating a body between 3 and 6? In my view, that's the wrong option, and I'll tell you why. If Higgins goes deep, Cluxton then will be able to pick out anyone he wants. He'll be able to get the ball. So anytime Dublin take a kick out, they will have possession. And you're talking about the pace that they have. It's easier maybe if Higgins goes up front, picks up wherever he's going to be. If that's Gerard Brennan, probably not McCarthy or Caffrey, and stop them at source. So my opinion tactically is that I would not put Keith Higgins back as a sweeper. So just going over here. So if this is the Mayo half back line of Boyle, Vaughan and Keegan, or the other way around, and you put Higgins in here, protecting 2, 3 and 4 as the case may be. Well, if you put Higgins here, Dublin have possession, and they're so fast and they move the ball so quickly, I think they could break through, maybe win a few frees, particularly if they play into the hill. So I think Horan might just say, look, we'll go for what we have, we'll go for broke. He's an ambitious guy, he knows what this team takes, and by putting Higgins back as a defensive extra man, playing a sweeper system, I think he'd be ripping up the paper, and I don't think that's necessarily something that he would do, and I wouldn't advise it. Okay, that's that one. Now, a big issue, and it's a key factor in who's going to win, is Cian O'Sullivan. All the talk has been about Aidan O'Shea, Seamus O'Shea, Michael Darragh-Macaulay. Do Dublin play Cian O'Sullivan at 6, or do they play him at midfield? To play him at 6, you have to drop Gerard Brennan, and then you bring in Dennis Bastick. So from a management point of view, the big question for Jim Gavin is he prepared to take that risk? At the stage that we're recording this, we don't know the answer. But I would imagine that if I was in charge, I'd go with Gerard Brennan. He could pick up Alan Dillon. A lot of the word from Mayo is that they want Gerard Brennan picked. But do we take that at face value or not? So maybe play Gerard Brennan. If things are going wrong, then you can make the change and work so well against Kerry. So what Cian O'Sullivan adds an awful lot, guys, is serious pace. So he's able, I'm just going to clean this now here. What O'Sullivan is doing here, as he did, we get that out of the Dublin goal. What O'Sullivan did, and we saw it against Kerry, is he was able to break in through here from midfield. Now, once he's breaking through at pace, Donald Vaughan then is under an awful lot of pressure. Because assuming Kieran Kilkenny is there, I played centre-back all my life with club and with Galway for a good few years. If there's someone coming through the middle at you, your decision is, do you go or don't you go? So I think if they could afford to have Cian O'Sullivan here, breaking the line, coming in at pace, that will cause consternation in the Mayo half-back line and in the full-back line. So it's a big price to start Bastic. I know O'Sullivan might be better at sixth than Brennan, but if you do that, you're robbing Peter to pay Paul a little bit with this. The other thing that we're going to look at now, if it's okay, is just some of the key matchups. We'll just look at some of the key things. And like the ticket arrived at the post there yesterday, €80. The reason people want to go to this game on Sunday as well is to see these games, to enjoy these games. I would expect Mayo to win the minor. I saw 2-1 against Roscommon. I expect Mayo to win the minor. On the senior, I'll hedge my bet just for a few minutes and tell you then. We'll just look at 2 or 3 of the key matchups and just see how we get on. Now obviously, I'll do this in red and green because as a Galway man, we're kind of supporting Mayo. A lot of people wouldn't, but it'll be their 7th All-Ireland final defeat in 1989 if they lose on Sunday, so I think that's a little bit too much for any team. Okay, some key matchups here. I have them written out here. We'll just look at them. Okay, the best one is Donald Vaughan versus Kilkenny, assuming he's playing. Now, Vaughan has scored 2 goals already. He scored one against Galway, he scored one against Donegal. He's very good, guys, going forward. He takes the ball at pace. We saw the goals he scored. But Kieran Kilkenny, he's only 19, I think. What he has to do is get Vaughan turned around, get him going back the way. Remember 2 years ago, he conceded a very bad free against Declan O'Sullivan against Kerry and he started giving up. If Vaughan is a big, strong, athletic guy, if he's going forward all the time, Dublin are in trouble. So it's up to Kilkenny. Tactically again, will he show short, get popped a bit of ball and link play? That's his game. We saw it particularly against Meath and Kildare where he's very good in the passing. So Vaughan and Kilkenny, that's one I'm really, really looking forward to. The second one that I'm looking forward to is assuming Ger Cafferty, he's the Mayo number 3, versus BB, we'll say, Bernard Brogan. Now in the league final, we don't know these for sure, but no, not the league final, but in the league, Brogan did very, very well on Cafferty. I think he scored 110 in that game. Brogan needs to be stopped. He got 4 points from play off Mark O'Shea, so Cafferty's ability to stop him will be absolutely enormous. And tactically, the big question is, should Mayo put Chris Barrett on him and leave Cafferty on Paddy Andrews, as the case may be? So there's one of the big matchups. And the last one here, I suppose, and this is one we're all looking forward to because they're both potentially Player of the Year, is Big Aidan O'Shea from Brafey versus if it's Michael Dara McCauley. And tactically we have a big decision here as well. Should Dublin or Mayo put McCauley on Aidan O'Shea, or would they be cancelling each other out? Or should Dublin put Cian O'Sullivan, if they pick him there, on Aidan O'Shea and have running? It ties back with my former point about Cluxton. If Cluxton drives the ball out the middle, I would expect that Aidan O'Shea would have the aerial dominance. I would also expect that if that happens, you might have to do it on occasion, Dublin will be trying to break that ball, because if Big O'Shea gets it, starts powering down to the middle, he's going to be very, very, very hard to stop. Dublin's, for me, the bench, and this is the last point really I'd be concerned about, is the timing of bringing in the bench. We have Dean Rock, we have Kevin McMinimum, we have Bastic, we have people like that to come in off the bench from a Dublin point of view. If they come on, when do they come on? Now that'll determine the game, but Kevin McMinimum scored a goal the last day, but I think he only got 7 minutes. So should Gavin introduce those guys a weeny bit earlier in the game, that'd be a key issue. When I saw Donald Grady doing this with Cork versus Clare, I don't know then did he tip anyone. I think that Dublin might just have a little bit too much for them from a point of view that they have a stronger bench. They got beaten in last year's All-Ireland semi-final by Mayo, and I think that motivation, that revenge factor might be quite strong. So for me, it's Dublin's pace, their penetration and their explosive bench versus a team like Mayo that has incrementally improved. They beat Cork in 2011, they beat Donegal this year, the All-Ireland champions, they beat the other All-Ireland champions the previous year. So they have improved under James Horan. Have they got the wherewithal to win the All-Ireland? Definitely, absolutely no shadow of a doubt. I just think Sunday might be 12 months too early. So that's it. I think those tactics would be very, very important. Cluxton, the key matchups, and what Mayo do with Keith Higgins would be very, very interesting. So for me, it's Dublin by 2 or 3 points. Thank you very much and enjoy the match. Bye.